Welcome to Link G4 Plus Training Part 35. In this video, we're going to take a look at working with our staged fuel injection. Now, our staged fuel injection is going to be used when we want to control a secondary set of fuel injectors. So if we have a four-cylinder engine, we have a primary set of injectors, let's say those are 2000 cc injectors, and we can't provide enough fuel flow rate into the engine to make the horsepower we're after, we need to add on a second set of injectors. We might have two sets of 2200 cc injectors, or we might want to go and start idle and cruise on a smaller set of injectors that are going to be more linear and easier to control, and run a larger secondary set of injectors so we can provide the fuel flow rate that we need. So there's all kinds of reasons why we might want to use stage injection. We're going to take a look at how to set it up, taking a look at our custom layout page that we have that I've defined for our staged injection, and then just talk about how to go in and program it. It's actually really simple once you understand what's going on within the programming language. So without further wait, let's jump into this video so we can check everything out. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at working with our staged fuel injection in our Link G4 Plus applications. Stage injection is going to allow us to have a secondary set of fuel injectors that we can bring in when we want to have additional fuel flow rate. There's multiple reasons why you might want to have this happen. If you have a high-power turbocharged engine that needs more fuel to be able to provide enough fuel flow rate for the horsepower level you're trying to obtain, you're going to need to use a second set of injectors. If we're running something like ethanol or methanol, a single set of 2200 cc injectors is not going to be supplying enough fuel to the engine. That's where stage injection comes into play. Now, we also can have the best of both worlds of running large injectors to provide enough fuel flow rate and also getting good drivability and idle quality out of a smaller set of injectors. So we might want to have a set of primary injectors that are something like a 400 or 500 cc that are relatively easy to control. They're going to be operating in a relatively linear manner, and then use a secondary set of injectors like a 2200 cc that can allow us to bring in more fuel flow rate as we get into boost. So there's all kinds of reasons why you might want to work with staged injection. We're going to take a look at how you can set that up and configure it within your Link software, and then just go through what we need to take a look at, what we need to data log and pay attention to. And there's two different modes that we can work with for the stage injection. We're going to be taking a look at both, and I'll show you my preferred way to set it up and my preferred mode to work with. So the first thing we're going to do here in order to work with stage injection is going to be making sure that your system can support stage injection. If you're running a box that only has 4 injector outputs, stage injection isn't going to be an option. If you're running a Link Fury, if you're running a Link Thunder, or another box that has 8 or more injector outputs, then you're able to use your stage injection on something like a 4 or a 6-cylinder engine. So what we're going to do here, first thing is jump into injection mode. We're going to change it from sequential in this particular example that we're looking with this file, and I'm going to change it into sequential staged. That's going to allow me to then first start to set up my staged fuel injection. Now, if you're running a group style injection or a batch style injection, you could use group/staged. That is another option. Typically, you want to work with sequential style fuel injection. That's where we have at least one cam pulse as it's coming into our box. So we have our trigger 1, which is going to be our crank trigger, or trigger 2, which is going to be our cam input coming into the Link so that we can run sequential injection. So that way it knows the number 1 cylinder position, and it can associate the firing order that we're specifying here when it's looking at the rotation of the engine, and it can figure out where to spray the injector properly in the valve timing events for the engine, which is really key, and the benefit of having a sequential injection. It's going to allow us to control in big injectors much better and get better economy. So I'm going to grab my sequential staged option here, click OK. Now we're going to see here it's going to ask me, do you want to clear secondary injector dead time table with all 0 and set the axis to default values? I'm going to say yes right now. We're going to look at setting that up. Click yes here, and then it's going to require me to do a power cycle. So let me go and do that right now. I'm going to power down my Link box. Wait a second here, and then let's power it back on again and wait for it to connect. We can see it just connected, and we'll click OK. So now that we've set our sequential stage, this is going to be assuming that you've already went in and set up your primary injector data information for your fuel injectors. Now let's just look at this example. This is a bit more of a complicated example as far as your configuration details go here in your fuel main configuration details. So I'm using a model mode. You could use this with a traditional or model multi-fuel, but model is a volumetric efficiency style strategy, so that's what I have selected here. The equation load source is load is equal to the map pressure. So we're running in our fuel table a traditional table based on MGP, or manifold gauge pressure. So it's referencing looking at our map pressure for the fuel calculations. I've defined my engine capacity here as a approximately 2.4 liter engine. The lambda target overlay is on. That doesn't really have anything to do with what we're looking at in this video here, but the fuel system type. Now this is where you have to go in and... Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.